So let's dive in. Let's do a practical example. So this is, I've logged in already to the Twin portal, and it's so simple, intuitive. If you go halfway down, you see AI tools, and you can use a navigation bar to scroll back and forth and see what's capable. Now, we don't have time to look at all of these today. So like I said, I'm going to kind of focus the bulk of it looking at the lesson planner. So when you click that, you come through to this page, and as you can see, it's pretty intuitive. Now, I made a few mistakes when I first used this because I started copying and pasting prompts in, and you don't, this is not the place to put prompts. So what I mean by prompts, guys, is these things. So looking at prompts, and actually Abreu's going to focus a bit on that later on. This is just for generating content. So I'm just going to put food chains in biology, just to give it a little bit of context as to which of the sciences I'm looking at. So that's my topic. Now, on the right hand side, you need to make sure you do the drop down menu and you filter the year group that you're going to be working with. So in this particular one, let's go for some 8th grade biology, and then you just hit generate. Now this will take 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So whilst it's doing that, I'll just kind of showcase another feature of this portal. On the left hand side, you've got something called Assistant. Okay, and when you click on Assistant, it allows you to put your prompts in. So this is where you can generate your prompts. So if I wanted to, here's another prompt that I use all the time for generating lesson plans. So I could just pop that into the portal. And that's where, if you use prompts, that's where you do your prompt stuff. But what I'm interested in doing is the content generator today. And oh, I've clicked off that. Fabulous. There we go. So what I like about this is when you do it, it gives you an introduction, and this does look like ChatGPT. So if you look at kind of the format of how this is laid out, it does look like ChatGPT. You've got your bullet points, you've got your bold text. We're very familiar with that type of layout. But then what I like is automatically, without asking it to do so, because bear in mind, I just put in ecology for 8th grade kids in biology. That's all I put in there. It was able to give me a couple of learning objectives. So I spent a bit of time comparing these learning objectives to things in the UK, like the national curriculum, and something called BBC Bite Size, which a lot of teachers use as reliable ways to validate whether information is decent or not. And again, it gives you the materials. It gives you curriculum alignment, which I love. I think this feature is probably my most favorite thing because, as I said before, when you get AI that doesn't align with curriculum, it can be clunky and not particularly useful for teachers. And this is just something that Twin love. Twin Science are all about bringing sustainability into contact with science and STEM and coding. And that's one of the reasons I love working with them. And I love the fact that they've taken the time to put the SDGs on there as well, because a lot of teachers, particularly in the IB schools, are starting to focus their energies more on sustainable development goals. So that just gives you a little input. And then what you can do is you can obviously ship this stuff out. You can export it. You can copy and paste it. You can reconfigure it. And then you could also use the AI tool Assistant just to kind of fine tune that. So you might be thinking, great, Alex, but what does it actually, as a teacher, how reliable is this stuff? Well, what I did is I took the Twin portal's output on a topic about physics and wave motion and forces that I needed to be teaching. And Key Stage 3 in the UK, just to give you some sort of context, that's kids who are aged 11 to 14. And then I compared it to Bite Size and a national curriculum. And I'm delighted to say, as you can see on the right-hand side, there was a really high match ratio, which is unusual at the moment for AI. If you buy into an adaptive learning platform, then you will get a lot of this, but it will cost you money. So this is quite a game changer, I feel, in the business. I think it's really, really good. And I encourage you to go in and have a play. So the next thing I'm going to look at is a challenge maker. Now, very similar, again, very intuitive to use. And what I mean by intuitive is it's just super easy to generate content. So you can see here, I've got a challenge maker. This is a fairly new feature. And what I want to do today is I want to create a solar energy quiz or challenge. Actually, a challenge, not a quiz. I don't want to do a quiz. That's what I want to do. And I'm going to go for some slightly younger kids here. So I'm going to go for some 5th grade kids. And it gives you a few suggestions below that you can put in, like biomimicry. How cool is that? That's when like machines try and mimic nature, which is a really, really amazing types of things. And it gives you a few sort of suggestions. You can take them if you want. I'm just going to keep it as it is because it's fairly reliable. And I'm just going to punch that into the challenge maker. Now, when might we use this as teachers? Well, we're going to use it when we haven't got much time. Maybe we've got something called a cover lesson, which is when you have like 20 minutes notice that you're doing a lesson in a minute. And it might be with a topic or a year group you don't know. You might want to use it with new teachers to the profession to reduce their workload because they find it quite scary coming into teaching because it's pretty full on. If you're a teacher, you'll be able to resonate with how full on teaching is, particularly at the moment. So here we go. So it's come up with the solar oven challenge, which is pretty unique. Last time I posted this in, it came up with something different. So it gives you the materials, the steps. And again, you can fine tune this. You might copy and paste and export this, and you might think to yourself, actually, I don't agree with step 1 or step 3. And you can fine tune it. You can put your own stuff in there, just like with any sort of generative AI. And you can assign it as well, which means you can actually send it out as an assignment, a bit like Google Classroom. So I love that about the challenge maker. It's really effective, and it's just all that's happening here is I'm just saving my time. It's just making life really easy for me, so I can spend my time with my family, or I can really hone in on my teaching because the content is being helped massively. And as I said, there are lots of what we call prompt craft, lots of prompt frameworks out there. I was just going to talk through one that you could use to generate lesson tasks. Now, it's always good to tell the AI your role. What grade do you teach? What subject do you teach? Because that allows it to fine tune. And remember, the way AI works is it narrows options through something called tokenization. It narrows things down. It's very good at narrowing things down. So actually, what you end up getting might be too narrow, and you might need to give it more instructions, which is why we've got the explicit instructions and the parameters. And you can really start to kind of fine tune it, saying, actually, I want 10 5-minute learning episodes. So going back to kind of the challenge maker, you could kind of prompt to say, actually, I want 3 different challenges about solar energy, and I want each of them to last 10 minutes. And then you just take that challenge off, and you've got your content ready to go for your lessons. It saves you time. It's easy to use. It's not clunky like some technologies. And I'd encourage you to get on, have a play around with it. It's very, very easy to sort of to navigate, and just try some stuff in your classrooms. The best way to see if these technologies work and they actually have an impact on you and the kids is to try it with the kids. And I can tell you, I work with Twin Science all the time, and their content is first class. It's worth the investment in your time, and it's really accessible. So that's just a little bit of a whistle-stop tour, really, of the main aspects of the AI to kind of reduce workload. And I've run that through pretty quickly. So hopefully you've been able to take some notes. You've got some takeaways from the session, and that's proved useful. I'll just recap some of the kind of key elements of my talk, really, just to kind of fine tune where we are with things. So the bulk of what we're doing as teachers is lesson planning. It takes us time. We have to give thought. And I'm not saying that we need to outsource the thinking here. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But it will help you outsource the doing, that time consuming element of typing up notes when you can just scan them. And planning lessons takes so much energy because you want them to be good. You want them to be engaging. You want the kids to enjoy them. So what I'm saying, I guess, is AI is here now, and it's here to stay, and it's only getting better. And the Twin platform is a fantastic way to experiment with some of these ideas. So thanks for listening to me. That's my name. That's who I am. If you want to follow the work I do, please feel free to jump on, and I really look forward to listening to the rest of this session.